So let's start writing the code. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to my document folder, creating a folder called terraform, because lots of code we are going to write in this classes. So this folder I'm going to create, and this folder I'll share to you everyday basis. So you have code with you. Okay. And this folder, right now I'm here in this location, and this folder is empty. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create multiple code. Okay. So let me start with a folder called one basic code. I'm going to start. I'm going to create a folder, and in this folder, I'm going to create first code. Okay, like this, I'm going to create multiple code, and as we go in progress, multi-folder I create. Every folder I separate the code for you, or the manifest file for you. So I'm inside this folder. Okay, this folder is empty, and let's start writing the code. And because this is the like a Linux shell or Linux command line, so I can use vi command also to edit the file. Okay, so I'm going to create a first file. You can give a file name any name, but extension should be tf, otherwise it won't work. So tf is extension to use this so-called terraform extension, right? And you have to write this, and vi is a text editor to open the file. So those who by chance don't know vi text editor, you can use your own personal text editor, not paid, or Visual Studio Code, Sublime, Notepad++, whatever you want to use, that will be your choice. Okay, your choice. But I'm going to use vi as a text editor. Okay, so here I'm going to write a code. Okay, so even though let me use Notepad only, that give you a better white color, and sometime looks simple for everyone. Okay, Notepad. Now, let's start working on the code. So the flow of the code. Okay, so typically now you understand Terraform work with multiple different. This is not the right term to say cloud provider. Multiple infrastructure provider is a better term to say. It may be on premises, on cloud, virtualization, container platform, Kubernetes, or maybe public clouds. Okay, so what I want right now, I have to tell my Terraform which provider I would like to use. Okay, should I use AWS or should I use Kubernetes? Which infrastructure provider you want to use? Okay, because, and you can think in this way, Terraform is a tool language, right? Working on AWS is different. Working on Kubernetes is different. Working on an Azure is different. Okay, is different. But what Terraform is given to us, they give a vendor neutral platform. Means just knowing Terraform, we can work on anything. Okay, so for us as a user perspective, okay, we have to only interact with Terraform and to learn only Terraform. But Terraform behind the scene know everybody. How? Okay, for this, their team has created multiple different software. Okay, one dedicated software for AWS, one dedicated software for Kubernetes, one dedicated software for Azure. So they buy the software, right? Terraform can know how to drive these guys. So these software are normally known as drivers. So, and they are known as the provider drivers. So with the help of these drivers, Terraform internally know how to connect with AWS and work with the AWS. So Terraform has the individual driver for AWS. This is called AWS provider drivers. Okay, we as a user, we doesn't need to know about this driver, but internally Terraform has this. Okay, so you do just tell to Terraform, right, that I want to use AWS for my infrastructure. Terraform automatically download and use that particular driver. How? I'll show you. But we had to tell Terraform which infrastructure I want to use. Remaining part can be done by Terraform. Obviously, how Terraform come to know which one you want to use. Okay, So for that, I want to show you one thing. All the Terraform provider, what Terraform support. So if you search for Terraform providers, you will get this link, registry.terraform.io, from where you can see all the provider supported by the Terraform. So there's a link, okay, where they listed all the provider that Terraform support. So there's a provider list: AWS, Azure, GCP, Alibaba, Kubernetes, okay, and some other tools also: Respect Tool, Workspace, Beta, External, HashiCorp, HTTP, Oracle Public Cloud, Salesforce, right? So these are also the tool, okay, that is supported by Artifactory, for example, or Acmea, supported by this. And you have a huge number of tools, I think around 2000 plus. Or even though if you go to this main page website, that's called registry.terraform.io. Okay, so there they say these are the provided that support, and right now 2139 different providers the support. And what is module? In my upcoming class we'll talk about module, then I talk about what is module use and power, and you can also create your own modules. But right now this is the provider we have, and this provider is listed here, registry.terraform.com, or I can say this is the website where all the driver or the software available. And who gonna use the software driver? Terraform internally. You don't have to worry about this. Terraform internally gonna use this driver software, okay, for the internal knowledge of how I can connect to AWS, and how I can use EC2 service, how I can use S3 service in AWS, something like this. Okay, and all this driver located in this website. For example, if I click on AWS, so here they say, okay, this is the my provider name. Okay, by this provider you can manage almost all the services of AWS. Okay, this is one thing. And if you want to use this provider, okay, this is the source code or the driver we have. Okay, again, you don't have to worry about Terraform will use behind the scene, but this is the provider name I'm going to use, or software I'm going to use. Okay, but how can I tell my Terraform, okay, that which provider I want to use, AWS or Azure? So you have to write this thing in the code. And how can I write in the code? Okay, so one of the way is in this page, okay, they give this option called user providers. Here, this code they give you have to use this particular code to write. Okay, this particular code to write. So here they are very clear that I am the Terraform. Okay, and in my code, I would like to use a provider. Okay, and name of my provider is AWS. This one. See here? This one. HashiCorp, AWS, this one. This is the provider. So either you can get from here, or Terraform is a very, very powerful document, right? I recommend to keep on looking at the document. That give you more path and the clarity. So if you search for Terraform provider, right, something like this, then you can get some document of the Terraform. Maybe let me check this one, this document. Maybe search for this one. So they give you this page. This is the document page for the Terraform, and here they tell you how to use the provider, okay, to interact with the cloud or other things. So here they give you
TensorFlow, an open source machine.
They give you
Add
a lot of information.
Add
They also give
Add
you a code.
Add! Okay, this has to stop. I'm going to show you how to get rid of all the ads. And we're going to do more than just a simple browser extension.
Documentation, right? And here they give this page. Let me also take this. So And here they give you this code, and this is the code, guys. They have this is the code they have. So I explain you in a minute how to use this code, but I just wanted to check the exact link where I can open the main code, where it is. One minute, please. There's some link they change here. There's a one link. So let's in a minute how to configure. Yeah, this is the one, right? So I just share this exact link where if you want to use, provided they give this information. This is the guy's code I was talking about. Okay, so they give this code and you can use this code directly. So multiple way you can get this particular code. Let me copy this code from here. I'm sharing this link in your document. Okay, obviously there's no the meaning to memorize the keyword because it's created by Terraform, but you should know the concept. Okay, according to our concept, okay, what we are looking for, we know we are looking for Terraform. We know the use case of Terraform, and I know as me, I want to use the infrastructure of the AWS cloud. So I'll tell my Terraform that I want AWS provider to use. This is my required provider. This is what I am looking for. Okay, but how to get this guy? You can get this guy from here. This is a simple code. Let me copy this code from this particular URL and put into my manifest file. Okay, and here this is very clear. This is more look like JSON, not exactly, but look like JSON. But this language is called HCL. Only one big difference is in JSON we normally use colon. Here we use equals to. So this is called key. This is called value. This is the one thing we have here. Okay. Now here you have to give your cloud name. Okay, give any cloud name. Let's say it's just a variable name. Let's keep this same my cloud. But the main important part here is which driver you want to use. Okay, which provider you want to use. And how can you get the provider name? Again, come to this website. Okay, which one? registry.terraform.com. Come to this website and just go and you decide which cloud you want to connect with. So same code, same syntax, same SQL language. Okay, you have to just use this code name. Okay, I want to use this one, this particular source or this particular driver for the provider. Okay, that's all. Okay, and which version of the code you want to use right now? Okay, recently guys, 7 hours ago they update the version, so this is the latest version they have. So I want to use this particular version, this version. Okay, I want this one there exactly. So if you want to use exactly this version, go for this. But sometime what happens, maybe in the future their version change, they keep on updating the version, they might have other version. So you recommend it rather than they use this exactly same version. I can remove this 0 here. Means in the future they will come 1, then 2, then 3. I say any other version available. I know those who know about the version, this is the major number, minor, and this is a patch number. So any of the patch number come up to, because the code is being keep on changing, right? Improving the patches or the loopholes. So I can say here, any of the version that is from 4.6, after this, any number come up, I want to use it support anything, or I want to use updated one. So for this is symbol normally we use. Which symbol? This symbol. So this is also good practice, always good practice to use this particular symbol. Other you can also write, I want to use all the version greater than this or less than this. This also we can do here. I can use exactly this version, but I suggest better go for this. So any version that is 4.16 dot something, anything, right? Greater than this means 4.16, 0.1, 0.2, anything it is supported. This line is not right now important. I just want to remove in the future. So where we need, I will explain. That's all, guys. So this is how, guys, in our code, okay, in our code, we are going to tell, okay, which cloud provider I want to use. Like this is just a key variable name or just a local name here. We are going to use this name somewhere in our code. That's not important. You can give your name also here. Okay. But let's say I say my AWS cloud. Okay. Any name. But this line is very important. Okay. Now this is what the code we have. By this, we'll tell the Terraform which cloud to use. Similarly, you want to use Kubernetes, exactly same code, only you have to change your source code driver name of the Terraform. Okay, or Azure, same. Now this code has been done. Let me stop this file. This code is done. Now this is the first time, guys, we are running the Terraform code. So Terraform only need the internal driver, and Terraform download this driver in your local computer where you're writing the code. Local computer is also known as your workspace. So first time, before you do anything, okay, even though if you say LSMA, there's no hidden files here. So when I run the Terraform first time, you have to run the command called enter. Even though if you read the document, they say this is the command you to run. What this command is doing, this command is, even though there's error, there's one reason for the error. This command is internally going to this website, which one? Registry, and downloading this code so that in the future Terraform use this code to connect to your AWS cloud because it's for AWS. Okay, I know this is a one error coming up because there's some syntax. They say you don't have to write this prefix. What you write here, you don't have to write this prefix. You just give your cloud name or platform name. That's what the syntax this support. Even though they give the help also. Okay. So I know this already, but I want to show you. Most of the time they give you the help and how to, by looking at the help, how can you find the right answer, right? That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. So you don't have to write this. Only till here, it write in any of the cloud platforms. Okay. Now if I run this, the first time we are running, now they are downloading the provider driver, and driver is also known as plugin. So plugins was the better word to say here. So AWS cloud provider plugin, they are downloading of this version, whatever the latest version they have here. They already detected this by HashiCorp. Okay, and Terraform has been successfully initialized, means that driver has been downloaded. Okay, where they downloaded? In the same folder where you are running. So if you see you have an A will show you all the hidden files. Okay, you can see this folder was not there and this file was not there. They downloaded what this file contained. So if you open this file with the cat command I can use. Okay, if you open this file will tell you right now in this folder where you are writing the code. In this code, we are going to automate AWS cloud, launching AWS services like AC2. In this code, we're going to write. So in your folder, this is called project. So in this project or in this workspace, okay, which Terraform provider we are using. So right now, by this file, they say we are using provider called AWS, and this is the version we are using. So this is a file that will automated by this command. Okay. And second thing is where the driver downloaded. So they downloaded in your current project in the folder called Terraform. Okay. So if you use the Terraform folder inside the provider, inside this website, then from HashiCorp, the AWS, and this version, if you go this, you want to check if you want to check. Then here we have Windows, and inside Windows, this is the file they downloaded. Because this is Windows, so they download exe file. And for other OS, they will download different file. I'm just giving this as information, even though we don't require this. Everything has been internally managed by Terraform. But if you want to know where the driver or the plugin located in your local laptop or local workspace, so this is the website where this is the location where you can find. Okay, so let me go back in my actual workspace. So you don't have to worry about what is there behind the scene, but I keep on coming to this folder because they give you a lot of information for our further purpose, right? But right now I just want to focus on a main Terraform HCL language or the Terraform main program file. Okay, so let me again open this file and let's do it. Now, at least now, by this time, one thing has been done. Now Terraform know how to communicate with AWS cloud. That's what the Terraform know right now. Okay, how to communicate, because Terraform has their respective plugin with them. So this part has been done. So Terraform know how to connect these guys. Not connect, I can say. Connect is a different term. How can I communicate when I need to communicate in the future? So I know now I know the AWS language. I know in AWS we have EC2 service. I know we have S3 services in AWS. So that's what the plugin gave to this. But if you want to do something in AWS or any cloud, obviously either you do manually, okay, or Terraform do same thing. Okay, you have to first connect. When I say connect, it means you to yourself log in. Means give your username of the AWS and password AWS. Okay, provide to AWS, and they will check this and they will authenticate. Okay, so either you connect or you from your side other tool connect or Terraform connect. So you have to Terraform has to log in or authenticate with the AWS. Okay, how we can do? Okay, how we can authenticate with the AWS? Okay, so for this we have a different sorry. For this we have a different block available. Okay, this is called block. So anything start from curly braces start, curly braces close. Inside this is a block, and this block has a name. Okay, a name of this particular block is called Terraform block. Okay, so Terraform is a block through which we can tell our provider details and maybe some more that we'll see in the future. So Terraform block we use to tell about the Terraform and what provider or plugins they support and from where they download. Even though better way you can say also, because they're downloading behind the scene from this website, from this URL, I can also give this name. Okay, because there's some more way your plugin can also available in other website also, like GitHub also. We can download from there. Some example, right? So maybe I can write in this way. So this is the better format. Okay, so from this website, I am downloading this. Mostly we download from here only, but there's some other website available like GitHub, from where also we can sometimes download. So that time we get to give that URL. But this is the by default. So if you write this, if you don't write this, both have the same meaning. If you don't write, they will download from there only. But let's say to make it this code complete, let me run again to show you it is working the same way. Terraform, again I'm running it. So you see there will be no difference come. They are giving same answer and they say they already downloaded. I'm not downloading for you. So by default they download from here. Okay, but how to I can say connect with the AWS, right? Connect means how we will log into this. So for this we have a different block available. Okay, why is block? This is the block. Like this we have one more block available. We have some block name, then inside this we write something. So we have one more block available where I can give my username and the password of AWS to connect. Okay, and this block name is known as provider block. Okay, so if you search in AWS, in Google, Terraform provider. Okay, or let me search for AWS, for example, provider. So this is the one document come up, how to connect with the AWS provider. Okay, so there's the AWS provider. Now here, this is the guy's block come up. Okay, so let me copy this block Okay, and paste over here. So here, what they say, if you want to connect to the provider AWS, this block will give you, and this block we can give my username and the password. Okay, so let me remove this. This is what not I wanted right now. I want to give my username and password. Okay, now for username password is for what? It's for authentication, right? Authentication. Now there's a multiple way to authenticate in AWS. Okay, in AWS, one of the typical way, I want to use this and then I will change in the future. Okay, is something like this. So if you want to log into AWS cloud or any other cloud also, okay, if you want to connect with AWS with web UI, then you use username and password way. Means if you want to log in with this kind of portal of AWS, here I give my login and password. This is normal username and password to log in. But if you want to use any other method, maybe CLI, or maybe use API, or maybe you can use Terraform kind of code. Okay, in any of this method, username password doesn't work. Username password is for human being. If we as a human being try to log in, then we need to give login and password. But if you're not logging AWS directly, you're using with the help of Terraform or some kind of mobile app or with the help of some kind of command line, they are the one who is doing for you. You're not going directly to AWS. There, instead of username password, instead of username or instead of password, instead of username, we use the keyword called concept called access key. Instead of password, we use secret key. This is what the method we use. Okay, we use. So you have to use the access key or the secret key. Okay, so typically here, instead of username password, we have to give access key and the secret key, because Terraform is doing on our behalf. So that's what we have to give here. Okay, so if you want to connect to my AWS provider, we have to give access key and the secret key. But I know guys, this is the key that whatever value will come up, I will write here. What value come by writing. Okay, but this value we have to fill. But this is a keyword given by Terraform. So what is the right keyword? This is the right keyword, or right keyword is hyphen, or right keyword is underscore without hyphen. I don't know. What is the right keyword given by AWS? So Terraform. So I will have check the document of Terraform only. And here in the provider, they say if you go to authentication part, okay, you can provide your static credentials. This is what I'm writing here. Static means directly writing my login and password. That's called credentials. Okay, and the syntax for the static credentials, that is not recommended also, because if I give my login and password directly here, okay, and you guys can see it, you guys also use it. Okay, it's not good practice, even though I'm showing you in a minute. Okay, it's not good practice. So, or maybe if I share my code in GitHub, it's maybe stolen, right? So we don't use this method, we use other method, but let me use for a while. For this, you can use this keyword, access key and the secret key. So this is the method or keyword you can use. So let me type this one. Okay, here you have to give your access key and the secret key. But again, this is not the duty of Terraform. You have to go to your providers and create there. AWS, GCP, OpenStack. You go and create there. Again, one-time setup. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So in AWS, guys, if you want to create access key, secret key, it means you have to create an account. So you have to create the account, and for creating the account in AWS, you have to go for IAM service. Okay, with this service, you can create your account in AWS cloud. Okay, new account. Okay. Even though I have my root account also, that I also have access to a secret key from here you can find, but I'm not giving is a root. So anybody who have this access, they can have the entire power on my my cloud. I don't want to do this. So there's the left side, guys, your users. And here you can create a new account in AWS. Okay. Those who know AWS, they might know these facilities. but I'm giving you step by steps. So for especially those who don't know about this, let me give this name. Let's say Vimal user. It's just the account name, the username I created here. I want this user will log into my AWS only with programmatic access, with the API CLI or command tool like Terraform. I want to give only this access. Okay, and this access will create a access key and the secret key for us. Okay, that's what I want. Click next. But after this user login, okay, so any user who log into AWS, what they can do in AWS, what power I want to give to this guy. Okay, so that power you can give here, attach the policy and power. So let's say I want to give this power user a power user. Okay, power user access. Okay, it means after login to this account, okay, they have all the power in all the services. They can use any of the services like EC2, S3, and whatever service you will know everything. They will manage, delete everything they have. This power I would like to give, power user access. Okay, and then next, click next and create the soul. So now there's a one-time setup again. So this user has been created in AWS, but I'm not looking for the username password because I don't want to log in with the graphical. I want to log in with Terraform or my other program. So I need the access key, secret key. So this access key I will copy from here. Okay, and paste here. Okay, and secret key, guys, I'm copying here. I'm also sharing with you. Don't use my secret key, please. Okay, copy. Okay, and paste here. And this secret key they show you only once. So copy it, otherwise they won't show you again. And close. That's all. So now this is a real access key secret key. By this key, I can log into my AWS. Okay. And because this key I have given some power, the power user. So what a power in the power user we have, that power we can get. So power user is one permission in AWS that give you power to do anything in any of the services that I might need sometime. Otherwise, you can restrict the power with the key. Okay, I can restrict, no, you will only use S3. So even though, or you can only use EC2. So even though in the code, you might write some other code for automation, but that won't work because you have a limited power. So power will decide what power you have. This one thing. That's all. So this is the priority block. One more thing. Okay, if you guys know about AWS cloud, other clouds, whenever you want to do anything in any services, let's say you want to use EC2 service. What is EC2 service for? EC2 service is used for launching the OS. Okay, so mostly in AWS, we always work in the region. Right now, my region Virginia. So which region you want to work? Mumbai, let's say. Okay, so if you want to work always in Mumbai region, or you want to say Mumbai is a default region, so you can, every region has their own name. This is called AP South, one is called Mumbai. Okay, so you can take this name from here, or you can, even though if in document also, they say this region you want to work on as a default one. You can change as per your demand, but you can set your default region here. In my case, Mumbai region Mumbai, and name of the Mumbai is called AP South one. How I know? In the document AWS you can see. Okay, so this is a default region I would like to set here. Okay, so this is what, guys, exactly code I created. Now one more last thing, okay, is I want to log into AWS by this login and password, and I want to use something by default in the Mumbai. Okay, but who will log in? Terraform login. And how Terraform login? They have a login with the help of their plugins in the driver. And what is the plugin driver name we have given? We have given this name, my AWS cloud. Okay, so this is a variable, guys, we created who know where my plugin is. Okay, so we have to give the same name here as a reference. Okay, that was the name meaning useful. It means we're telling my provider I would log into this guy. Who will log in? Terraform And from where Terraform get the plugin, they will get the plugin from this particular variable. This variable know where the plugin is. So the Terraform on your behalf will log in to the AWS. Okay, so that is a use of this value. Mostly in the market, you always get the name here AWS. So if you see any of the code in the market, you will see AWS here. Okay, but it's just a name, right? A lot of things is the name is fixed, you can't change. Okay, it's not fixed. Okay, it is just a variable name, you need to give the reference properly. So that is the reason I try to use a different name here. So to give you a context, that is just a name, but here this name has relation with this blocks. So this block know how to log in, and this block know how to get the driver. Okay, so let me write one comment. This way, guys, we can write the comment in Terraform. So this is a block for authenticate to AWS cloud, and this block is to tell how to use AWS cloud to Terraform or by the Terraform. Okay, that makes more sense, right? So that's what, guys, we have created. Now, finally, guys, this part has been done, and this is a one-time setup. Okay, whatever you do in the future, this is the line we have to keep on doing again and again. Okay, now third thing is, after one and second thing, now here we start using the power of Terraform. Now we can tell the Terraform, these are the services we would like to use in AWS. I want you manage my infrastructure. These are services I would like to manage. Okay, so how we can tell? Okay, for this you should know what you're looking for. Let's say let's set one simple use case, a very simple example here. I can say, okay, I want to use one service in AWS cloud. For example, these are the guys services we have. This is my main page. Okay, in AWS, which service you want to use? Do you want to launch login? Do you want to install operating system? Okay, and so if you want to install the operating system, then you need RAM and CPU. Okay, or plus hard disk. Okay, and plus you need your operating system bootable image. So from this image, you can launch a new operating system. So for this, we have one service called EC2 in AWS. With this EC2, I can launch the OS, and OS also known as instances. So we need EC2 instances kind of services, okay, through which we can launch the OS, okay, on the top of AWS. And obviously for launching the OS, we always need the bootable image. In AWS, it's called AMIs. So that's what I'm going here. I'll go to EC2 search. Do you have EC2 service? Yes. I want to launch my server or the instances there. How will launch? So let me show you guys very quickly manually, because if you know the manual process, then only those processes can be automated. It's not vice versa. Okay, if you don't know how to do it manually, it means you don't know your requirement. If you don't know your requirement, how can you do? So my requirement is something like this. I want to launch EC2 instances. This is my requirement. How many? I want to launch one instances. How you launch manually? Click here. For minimum requirement, you need the AMI, and which AMI you will need. Let's say this one. And every AMI, guys, they give you some unique IDs. That is a unique name AWS give. Let's say I want to launch this AMI. So which image I would have to use? This one. Okay, so I'm collecting this information. I'm showing you manually also. I'm also collecting the information, and this information we can very quickly automate with the help of AWS. Then click next. How much RAM and CPU you want to use? Have 1 and 2, right? So there's called type. This is called instance type. So you want to use T2 micro instance type. So which instance type you want to use? In my case, let's say I want to use T2 micro. So go free tier also, and they give you 1 GB RAM and 1 CPU. Click next. How many instances on launch? 1. Anything you want to change? No, I would like to go other thing by default. I don't want to change anything right now here. Click next. Do you want to add more hard disk? No, I want to go for by default 8 GB. I don't want to change. Do you want to give this OS a name? So let's say give my name is OS2. This name I want to give. Okay, so I want to give my OS a name. A name is called tags. So I want to add my tag. If you want, the compulsory tag would be name equals to, let's say, OS2. Okay. Then do you want to add any any firewall security group? Let's say no. By default, whatever they have, let me go for this. Okay, and the launch. And for launching, do you want to add any private key? Okay, yes, or you don't want, that will be your choice. No, without this, I don't want to add any private key. Maybe my plan is not to log in, for example, with the private key, right? And then I launch, that's all. Okay, so now we know the manual process. I think everybody knows this because in my video, I'll share this video already, something in small detail. Okay, it's been launched, but this is the manual process, right? I want the exactly same process is done by Terraform. How we can do? Okay, so for the cloud perspective, EC2 is a one service through which you can get the OS, and this is called resources. It means in the Terraform, okay, if you want to use and do anything in the infrastructure, we have one more different kind of block we can create. But the use of this block is to use resources or manage resources or create resources. And so you are resources. Okay, or to manage resources. Okay, so this block Terraform is for plugin, this block for login, and this block we have is for resources. And the syntax of the block that will help us to use or manage the resources of your respective platform is always start from the keyword called resource. Okay, resource. And inside this, we'll tell what to do. Which resource? 100 resources available, right? Do you want something EC2? Do you want something in S3? Do you want something in other databases? So multiple different resources and service available. Okay, which resource you want to use? So here you have to give your resource name. Which one I want to use? Let's say EC2. Then in EC2, what you want to do? So guys, let's say I collected this information. I want to perform all these things. That's what, guys. This is your Terraform code. Highlight. So I'm telling my Terraform that I have hundreds of resources available in AWS cloud that I log in already, but I want to use only this resource or this service who give me this particular thing. One OS, this AMI, this type, and this name I would like to use. Okay, so you have to use the resources. Now I just giving you this structure. Now converting the structure into proper syntax, that's a very simple to do. So how we can convert into a structure. Okay, here we can take the help of the document. Okay, so in the document, guys, this is a great document you have, and this document is the most probably maybe the latest one. Let me go for the latest one, 4.16, a little bit older actually. We'll go for the latest one. So this is the latest document we have. Okay, and let me click here in the doc part. So this is the latest document we have. Okay, right now because we're using latest version Terraform also. So in this document, even the provider I use here is the same. Even according, yeah, there's the same, right? This is what no change in the provider. Okay, in the latest version. So here in this document, okay, if you search here in the filter, okay, I want to do something EC2. Do you have something? So they say yes. For EC2, we have some resources available. In EC2, what you want to do? So those who know about EC2 as one service, inside the EC2, there's a lot of sub-service also there. You can launch hard disk also, it's called EBS. You can do something in EIP, getting public IP. You can set up the load balance or the ALB. So there's a lot of sub-service available. What exactly you want to do in the EC2? I want to launch the instances. That is the one thing I want to do. Okay, so if you search here, do you have anything in the EC2 instances? So anything that you can do with the EC2 instances. So EC2 is a one resource, and in this resource, do you want to do something EIP, or do you want to launch create a key value pair, or you want to launch hard disk? I want to do something on the AWS instances. Okay, so that's what I am looking for. So this one resource name. And this is what the resource name I am looking for here in my code. In my code, this is the resource name to use. You give your right resource name. By this, technically, we're telling our Terraform, we are telling to Terraform, if you contact to AWS, ask them, I want to launch instances. Do you have any service? Internally, automatically, they will connect you to the EC2. EC2 is the only service through which we can launch the instance AWS. Okay, so this is the way we're telling the Terraform, I want to use which resource you want, you will go and manage. Okay, now in this resource, okay, does this resource support, for example, here I can write count equals to or image equals to. The name is right because we have collected this name. This is our name we are giving. This is our instance type we are giving. This information we collected. Count is one we want. My tag is this one that we want. Okay, but value is not defined by you. It's defined by always by Terraform. Does this value is image or OS name, instance type or type? I don't know. Count or counted or counting, I don't know. Okay, so your document will going to help us, right? Because it's created by Terraform, they know. So if you go down, okay, here they give the argument references. So typically, guys, this keyword is also known as argument. Argument. So argument, okay, even though I can say this complete line is known as argument, and in the argument, you have to give your name and the values, or I can say key and the values. Okay, so this line is a commented line, right? So this is the argument you want to give. So in this argument, what is your argument name? And this name is also known as argument reference. Okay, so better name would be, they say, this is the argument reference. That is also known as key. Okay, I'll give this terminology because this is a very common terminology we will see always everywhere. So what is argument reference? Okay, so for argument, do you want to use AMI? Yes. So here for this we have a keyword called AMI, not the image. Actual keyword that support is argument name the support is called AMI. That's what from the document we come to know. So we can change. Actual one is AMI. This information we collected because we know the concept, we know the process. If you know the concept and the process, we collected those information already, maybe with manual process. And I don't want to do anything manual in the future. So I'm converting this manual process into the Terraform respective code. But for this, we have to use their keyword what they support. Okay, next I want instance type. So for the instance type, they might have one keyword available. Let's check. The keyword is very, again, user defined. Right, means very much simple to understand. The instance type for use. So this is called instance underscore type. This is what I would like to use. So here I have to use underscore. Okay. Then for count, okay, you guys might see a keyword called count somewhere. Okay. For text, this is the keyword. We can use a text. That's what I use already. There's a text we would like to use. Okay. This is also one thing. And second thing is count. Maybe let me search very quickly. Control F. Count. Here they don't have any count, but I think the count is count only. Even though if you don't use count, they will use count by default 1. they should have this, or maybe somewhere you might see count, because some of the documents sometimes some of the keywords sometimes see they are not available here, but let me use the count. I think count has this name, otherwise we'll change. Okay, we change, even though we have some function also available. It's called meta argument. We'll see, maybe in the meta argument is the count. So let's forget about something. When I explain you one more concept called meta argument, I will explain the count. Let me remove this for some time. Okay, so this is the, let me remove this line. Put it here. So this is what we have find out. This is the final syntax for our code. One more thing I want to tell you here is very important to know. When you are using this particular keyword, okay, sometimes they tell you AMI as a key or variable, okay, and they tell you, okay, the value of this keyword should be string type, or value of this keyword, let's say if you use count, they say value of this keyword should be number type or integer type. Okay, similarly, if you go down and if you search and we see here, sometimes they say use Boolean type. So EBS optimize one concept, they say it's only support true or false. They only support true or false like Boolean. Okay, so we have guys one dedicated discussion on the data types of Terraform. What data type does support? So we have a detailed discussion on this. We just started. We will discuss. But right now, if you talk about, see the tags. Okay, so tags here has a data called map. Map is like a dictionary, those who know, or hashes. Okay, so we have a detailed discussion on the data types. We will discuss in very detail, but they support map. But here I put this guy into the string. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, right now, there one example, I'm copy pasting the tag there, but after I explain you the data type, then understanding this keyword won't be a big deal for you. So I'm just copying this syntax here. Okay, what technique I can say, you just put this guy into the curly braces, something like this. Okay, see me, curly brace start, close, key and value. We start and close, key and value, or maybe you can write in this next line also, just for look and feel. Okay, so this is called dictionary or map, but don't worry about this. We have a discussion on this in upcoming discussion in the class, right? Or this is a value. So let's say I give the value called my OS by Terraform. Okay, this is my tag name, just the name of the OS. Okay, so it's not compulsory. You want to remove it, you can remove it also. So that's what, guys, my final code has been created. We can do much more thing, but this is the first basic example code. Okay, or hello world kind of code. That's just right now is that's what we need right now. Okay, so this line is only one-time setup. Give the plugin to Terraform. This line is one-time setup to login. After this, we are going to write lots of resources. Every resource will do something for you. Launching AWS, launching hard disk, connecting hard disk to instance, launching VPC, S3 bucket, right? All the things we have. Resource block is keep on coming. Okay, even though I can launch one more resource, same name, with different AMI ID. Okay, so this also launching AWS, this also launching AWS with same AMI, different AMI, or maybe same AMI 2 times. So we can write some loop also. How to write a loop, we'll see again in some time. Okay, that easy reason. Okay, it is important that every resource you have to give a unique name. You have to give a unique name. This is what this through which we are telling which service you want to use. But every resource you have to give some name. Let's say this is called OS1 is a name. Here is OS1. So it's guys compulsory actually to give this, because this name is going to use a lot in the future. The way I use a name here, right? This name I use here. So if one block, if you want to connect to other block, these kind of names want to use a lot. It's called reference names. Okay, so in some time you will come to know the power of this name, but in the AWS it is compulsory to give this name. So technically the syntax would be you to always give a block name. Okay, block name. Then what is block name? Resource is a block name, provider is a block name. Okay, then you have to give your resource type. So AWS instance is resource type, S3 is resource type, EBS is resource type. Okay, and every resource type we have to give a name. That's called resource name. So it's a compulsory syntax here. It's a resource name, or I also get resource local name, because locally in this file this name we are going to use. So for example, in the future, when I connect the hard disk, I'll tell my hard disk will be connected to the OS. Or which one? Two OSs running. So that time this name gonna come up. I want to connect my hard disk to this OS or this OS. Where this local name gonna help us a lot. Okay. So giving this name and giving this name unique name is again compulsory. So right now I'm going to launch only one. Just wanted to explain you this is what I copy and paste the code. Okay. So guys, this is a syntax. So in the resources, you have to give this name, even though if you see the help and examples also, you can see this one and this name. You can give any name, web 2, but it should be unique in your particular code. Okay. So let's run this code. Now guys, the way I launched my OS right now is running in the Mumbai, is run manually, but this time I'm going to launch automated. Okay, how I run this code. So for running the code, you don't need a Terraform init. Terraform init we launch only once, and it is only used to download the your plugins. Okay, after plugin download, there is no SS need of Terraform init. Okay, now what can we do? At least we can do one thing: validate. Okay, validate means if any syntax error in a code, the way the syntax should work, then this code will validate. So right now, validating the code, just checking the syntax of the code and other keyword errors. So configuration is 100% valid. Yeah, obviously, if you have something wrong, let me guys open this file in the background, so I don't have to close again and again every time. So the simple we can use, okay, to open my code, run this file command continuously. Okay, for example, if I give the wrong syntax here, save the file, so my validate will tell there's some error in some aspect line, your closing braces is not closed. So validate is a good command. Before we do anything, check the validation. Okay, now one concept here is Terraform is a tool through which you're going to create the entire infrastructure. And guys, the infrastructure is not a small thing. There's tons of things connect together at the way I explained to you. Okay, so we have a hard disk, network devices, right? All the services, EBS, EC2, VPC, hundreds more services connect together and create one complete platform for one particular app. So it's a one complete plan you have to create. Okay, and this plan you can automate it with the help of IAC, infrastructure code. Okay, that is the reason in Terraform we have a command called plan. Okay, by looking at the code, they will tell you the entire plan. They say when you run this code, okay, what infrastructure they will create. This command is not to run. This command is to only to give you the plan. Okay, so this command will tell you the entire plan, and they say if you run this code, we are going to add one new resource for you. No change, no destroy. What is this? We'll see. We'll add one new resource for you. Okay, technically, this is what we have created, one resource, right? Only one plan we have till now. Okay, but what they add, so they say here, we go up, they say plus green color, we are going to create something new. That's what this plan is. And according to the plan, we are going to launch this thing, means one new instances. Okay, where some of information you have given, AMI name you have given, Okay. Instead type you have given, plus means green means you are going to add. You given, and some other information you doesn't give. So that will I will use by default. For example, what is the for example, let me take one simple name here. What is the hard disk size? EBS hard disk. You haven't tell me, but I will use by default. Okay, whatever that they have. Okay, I will use the by default public key, public IP, private key. Okay, private IP address, firewalls. I will use. So known after apply means right now this code is not applied. So I don't know what is by default setting in AWS, what private IP they give you, public IP they give you. But after I run my code, then I come to know what actually they provide to us. So these are the default settings what they will use. I will take this in the future, but right now I'm only performing those things that you asked me to do and whatever you declare me to do. And how and how you declare by this. Okay, that is the reason it's called declaration language, declarative language. So we declare here, and this language is called HCL. So HCL is a declarative language for the Terraform. Now, if you're really sure that this is your plan, what you're looking for, then you can apply this. Okay, this is what the command is, Terraform apply. But note one thing, guys, this command you're running from your workspace, from project folder. Okay, and here you're not giving any of the file name, which file to run. Okay, so what happened whenever you run this Terraform command in the current folder, all the file with the TF extension they run for you. You can get much more file. I'll show you how and why. Okay, but all the files with extension TF only they will run for you, and apply is the final command to apply your plan. And even though apply also give you a plan one more time, so you don't need to run the plan. Okay, if you don't want, they give you this is the plan, and do you want to really apply? I say yes. Okay, so you say no, it won't apply, but obvious. But if you say yes, it will apply for. So your plan would be applied, and you just say ideal. Now they know Terraform know how to communicate. Okay, to the cloud. Okay, with the plugin, they know how to log in because we give the secret keys, and they know how to deal with the services. And they are launching the instances. They know. Okay, and as soon as they launch the instances, they come out and say this is what the plan you have, and we have done for you. Okay, now apply complete. There is no error. It means my what I say, my login password is right. Okay, plus they say one resource we have added for you, and this resource is issued instance. So we launch one issued instance for you. So if you go to your cloud and refresh, you will see one new instance launch, and this is what exactly tag name we have given. Okay, and here when they launch the instance, every instance in AWS will give a unique ID. This ID is given by AWS of the instance. Same ID you can see here. Come on. Okay, and in this instance, I asked to use the AMI. Okay, so the AMI is called 10D in the last. This is what the exact AMI they use with T2 micro instance type. The T2 micro, we can say somewhere, T2 micro instance type they use. Other things they use by default, whatever the AWS provide them. You can change also, but this by default they use whatever they provide. Okay, so the entire resource we have created. Okay, and now this is one thing we created. By the way, you can create hundreds and thousands of resources and connect together. How? I'll show you today only. But again, destroying also so simple here. Okay, I just go here and destroy. Say that's all. One click, the entire infrastructure destroyed. Right now, destroying one OS is very simple, right? But if you think it's a big infrastructure, we have a lot of pieces connected, service connected each other. Destroying is very harder sometimes. But here they say, do you want to destroy one thing? That's your plan. I say yes, and we are going to read minus means red color means we are deleting all this thing. destroying all the thing. Are you okay? So there's your plan. I say yes. So they will go and destroy this particular thing and all the things that is there in the plan, right? So this is what we have done. Let's add some more thing here. Let's say I have something like this. Okay, something like this. I have want to customize something. For example, I want when this instance launch, they will use a respective private key. Okay, even though I can create a private key also with Terraform, I will do it in some time. But let's say I will go and create a private key here. Okay, manually key pair. I'm doing it manually for a minute, but I'll show you how to do it automated. Okay, so the key pair I would like to create. Key pair means public key, private key through which we can again log into my OS. So I'm going to create this private key. Let's say this is the key for Terraform training is my key name. Okay, I'm creating this particular key. Okay, with PM format. Okay, this is what I am creating here. PPK if you want to log in with PuTTY, but PM is general purpose. Okay, this is a private key I am creating, and obviously they will download in your local system. So those who you know guys, right? When you launch to OS, they will also ask you same thing, and your private key is like a login name, and it's there download in my local system. Okay, it's somewhere in my download folder. So this key I created. Okay, so I want when this OS launch, I want to use this key. Okay, which one? This one. This is the key name I want to use. Okay, this is my plan. Second thing I also want, even though we can automate this part also with AWS, we have resources for this. Okay, well, that we'll see in some time. I also want to create one more thing in my firewall security group. Okay, because my plan is something like this, what I'm going to show you in a minute. My plan is something like this. I want to launch my AWS instance, right? Inside this instance, I want to, okay, my first step is I want to first launch my EC2 instance. This is my first step. Second step I want to do is after the launch, AWS will automatically provide a public IP to us. Public IP. So if you see here, they give a public IP by default. We can disable also, but by default, they give you a public IP to you. This is terminated. See, guys, this term is terminated. They give public IP to you. Okay. So after they give the public IP, when this instance launch, this public IP I will use to log in from my laptop. Okay, from my laptop. And for logging, I need public IP, and plus I need a login and password. And for password, I'm going to use a private key that I already have in my laptop downloaded. So I use this private key to log in to this OS. Obviously, I'm going to log in with SSH. This is what by default Linux support, OS support. Okay, and why I want to do SSH? Because after I'm doing SSH, okay, in this OS, I want to configure something. I want to set up something. Okay, what I want to set up here, I want to set up my web server to host my website. This is the plan is. So I want to set up my Apache web server as HTTPD web server to is a software name to configure and set up the web server. Okay, so my second plan is after login for my laptop, I want to set up the web server. Okay, but after web server setup, my client will from outside world, okay, can able to connect my website. But by default, I mean, these steps I want to show you with Terraform. Right? Everything will be automated, right? Everything will be automated. So from the internet, my client will connect to these instances. But by default, guys, in AWS, right, we have a firewall enabled, and this firewall in the AWS called security groups. So anybody from outside will try to come in, firewall block. So I'll tell my firewall, anybody try to come in and kind of a web server work on a protocol called HTTP. So allow the HTTP protocol. So this is the one rule you have to create where in the security group. So this rule I'm creating right now manually, but I'll show you sometime how to do it automatically. Okay. So that is the reason, guys, I'll just go to my security group and creating this rule as security group here manually. So say allow my HTTP. Some rule name I'm giving. Okay, and this rule I'm going to add. Okay, inbound rule means anybody come in from the outside world. So anybody from outside world come in to my OS is called inbound. So I would like to allow for incoming. Okay, inbound rule. I would like to allow my HTTP. Anybody from anywhere in the world can connect. Okay, and one more thing I want to allow, because in this instance, first time I want to log in from outside world, from my laptop, I would have to log in so I can configure and set up. And for login, because this is Linux OS, I will use SSH protocol. So I want my firewall also allow for SSH. So one more rule I'm creating here. Okay, so allowing the SSH, right, from let's say anywhere, or can put my IP also. Okay, right now, guys, I'm doing it manually, but if you know the concept, then sometime I'll show you how to automate this. Okay, so security group, I'm giving the name. Okay, and inbound, anybody come in, only two things allow from anywhere in the world. They can connect to SSH and HTTP. Okay, this is what the firewall we created. Okay, this description, allow SSH and HTTP. Okay, even though let me give SSH also. Just a name, right? That's all. This guy's security firewall been created. Whenever you create any security group, okay, again, AWS also give a unique ID to this. This called security group ID. This ID I'm interested on. Okay, this ID I'm interested on. Okay, so this is my ID of the security group. So this ID I want to use. So this now what I want to launch the instance. Okay, but my instance, I want to use this key and this ID. How can I use? Same way, I can go to my sorry, document of the instance and say, do you have any way to use a key? Even though, guys, they give some examples also here, maybe useful. Maybe you're going to use this example in the future. Okay, but if you see, do any way to use the key or the private key or the key name is a key value pair we can use. So I say yes. So they say we have a key underscore name as a key. Okay, and do you have a way to use the security group, the firewall? So they say yes, security group we have. But there's two things. Do you want to use the security group? Then you can give a security group names. So if you're comfortable with security group name, mostly we are comfortable with names only. So I can give my security group name, which firewall I want to use. You can give the name, and you can give the group IDs also, whatever you guys are comfortable with. Okay, so why not displaying? Yeah, you can give the names also. Okay, so in my case, I've given the name something like, this one. So this name I can give also. Even though we can give the ID also, there's a one keyword, right? ID also. Okay, but I feel ID is giving is a better way to do, because most of cases, sometimes giving the ID give more values. Why? And where we'll see. So I'm using ID here, but you can give the name also. Okay, by this name. But I would like to give the ID. Okay, this is the keyword for this. And one more small thing, okay, if you see the document, okay, if you want to give the name or ID both, they use a list. List is a data type again. Again, what a data type we'll see, but normally list is like array, and array normally we write in this way. We write everything in the square bracket. Okay, and one more reason is because in one instance I can attach multiple firewalls. That's the reason this is the list, means we can add multiple by comma, and because this is a name, we can write in the as a string. And this also name we can put in the string. Okay, so that's what we have given. Okay, now this instance this time is going to launch from this OS. Okay, with T2 micro type, with my OS name, my OS TF for web, can give any name. Okay, and this firewall means anybody from outside want to connect web server, they can connect, and this particular key, so I can log in also with this key. So this is what the customization we have done here. Okay, so let me rerun my apply, and this is what the setting gonna come up. So I say yes. You can check also if you want. This is good practice always to check, but you can see this is what group we have added, name we have given, key we are using this. I think this is what the key I downloaded. Okay, so this key name you have to give, not the file name, key name. I say yes. They launch this. So this step has been done. Launching issue instance has been done. Okay, now after launch, I would like to log in to this OS. Okay, after login, I want to set up my web server. Okay, so this thing, guys, now it is your choice. You want to do this thing. Okay, what I want to do, I want to show you one more thing, because this will give you more clarity. If any OS is running somewhere, launched by you or by Terraform, okay, why you want to use this OS? So I can run my app. Before running the app, you have to set up some basic thing that's called environment. Let's say you want to set up web server, or I can say you have to configure web server. So there's three things, right? App is normally developed by your software designer or software developers, right? So developers are the one who create the app for you. OS launching is normally done by your infrastructure guys. Let's say in this case, it is managed by Terraform. Terraform is the one who manages this thing for you automatically. Okay, and setting up the web server is managed by your IT team or operations teams, right? It's managed by these guys, and they are normally also known as configuration management, managed by these guys. Okay, either manually, again, they can do it automated. How? So there's a lot of automation tool available in the market for configuration management, let's say Ansible, Puppet, and something like this. Okay, so it is your choice. Either you can log into this OS from your laptop, how manually, and configure the web server, or you can use this kind of automation tool to configure these guys. Okay, so there the rule of and configuration management tool gonna come in play. Okay, but Terraform has a way we can integrate Terraform with this kind of tool. You can ask Terraform, my duty is done, we'll launch the OS. Okay. Okay, then Terraform contact to Ansible, and they will do the remaining part of it. But right now, I'm not showing this demo right now. Maybe in next class, I will definitely show to you how we can do this, kind of with Terraform with Ansible. But right now, this configuration management part, I'm going to show with Terraform. Terraform also have a way to configure it for you. Terraform is not meant for this. It is good practice not to use Terraform for config management, but they have some support. I want to show you the support. Sometimes we want to use that thing from Terraform, so you should know this. Okay, but otherwise, app is developed by developer. That's the right practice. Or entire information to be automated by Terraform is the best practice, and doing the confirm element by some tool like Ansible is good practice, but this part is been supported by Terraform also, not in that depth. The what Ansible, Puppet, and Ceph support, also Solid Stack support or Fabric support, but Terraform is some facility. I just want to show you. Sometimes this facility is very much useful to use in Terraform. Okay, that's what I'm going to use. So this part, second part, to log in to this OS from your laptop, obviously with the help of Terraform. I want to show you why I want to log in to set up my web server. This is very important concept, but yeah, this OS has been launched. And if you see, this particular OS has been launched with us. Okay, with the exact same setup. In security, we have attached this particular firewall. Okay, firewall, and same particular key has been connected. Okay, key is being connected. Okay, the way I want it. Now, after this, we are going to log into this OS with the help of Terraform and do the things. Before I do with the Terraform, I want to show you this thing. Guys, I just need 10 more minutes. I go for break. Then before the break, I also check the Q&A, right? So let me show you how we can do with the manual thing, right? So if you know the manual, then converting to Terraform won't be a big deal, right? So plan would be something like this. I have this particular OS running with some IP address. This public IP I have. Okay, what is public IP in my case is this one. Let's say last 92. This is the public IP we have. Now from my laptop, I want to connect to this OS. Okay, because the Linux OS, so I'm going to use a protocol called SSH. So how I'm going to connect? Let's go connection. So my connection information would be SSH. I use the public IP and I use the username and I use the password. Instead of password, I have the private key. So I'm going to use the private key here. Okay. And then I'll use the username. So in this OS, by default in AWS, they create a username called EC2 user. This is a by default username they create. How I know? When you launch the OS and you can connect, from here you can get the by default username. Okay, so these are details we have. Now how we can connect manually? Simple, nothing very technical. If you want a command prompt, go to a download folder where your key has been downloaded. Okay, SSH, then give your username, EC2 user, give your password, this is your private key that is already downloaded, this file PAM, and then your IP address. That's all, guys. Nothing very technical, you know this. But let me I show you so that you guys get the idea. Okay, you're getting this error because this file is not properly permission, right? Permission is wrong, so they can get this error. So let me, I don't know, chmod command support here. No. So I'll open my command, this command prompt, or let me open new one. Okay, and I'll go to my download folder. Download folder, and there's a command called chmod. I can change my permission of this file. Key underscore dev. So the one Linux command, we make this permission. Permission means nobody can able to read it. Okay. So SSA, if private key has not proper permission, anybody can read. I won't allow this file to use. That's what this line says. So this command I can use to do it. Okay, let me again connect. That's been connected. Are not received by others. One minute. There's another issue. This should work, right? This private key. 1 minute, guys, please. Let me check what the challenge. So this is not being able to change here. This command is not working. Let me check in Windows. They are not allowing me to change the permission. Okay, why? So I can change the permission in Windows, maybe some other reason. Okay, so do one thing. Let me use a different tool or putty. I just to show, but I think everybody know this. I don't want to invest my time in the video. So I saw the demo. I have to use some other method to change the permission. So technically, we use this command to connect, or you can use putty to connect. So I don't want to invest my time there further, right? The main point here is right now we are connecting with this command line. Okay, and after connecting, then we will get the prompt, and after we get the prompt, we can configure our thing. So after we lend it to this OS, we can configure it. Let's say my web server. The same thing I want to do with the Terraform. That's what my requirement is. How we can do this thing with the with the Terraform. Okay, that would be the plan. Okay, so if you want to do it with the Terraform, then there's a way. So if you go to your document and say Terraform, I want to use our connections. Okay, using SSH or private key, something like this. So do you have a way where we can do a connection settings? So there's a one document you will find connection setting. What is provisioner? That is a very important topic. We'll see in some minute. But there's a yes. If you're using Linux, then you can use SSH. If you have Windows, you can use WinRM protocol to connect. So what is a connection block? Means how we can connect. Okay, so this is the connection block we have. So with the help of this connection block, we can connect, and how we can connect. This is what they do. They say you can connect with this particular block. Okay, this particular block. So how we can do? Let me copy this code and paste here in my Terraform. Okay, let me paste some 4 minutes here. Okay, now what can we do this, right? In this block, we will tell, right? This block, guys, this block I'm putting some for a minute from outside, but typically this block mostly sometimes part of inside the resource only. Okay, so let me put directly there, but we have some way I can connect from other way also, but let me write here just for a minute inside the main resource block. Means when my this OS launch, after launch this part is done, then I want to connect. And for the connection, the way I explained to you, I would have to use SSH. Okay, my username is EC2 user. Okay, I don't have a password. I don't want to use the password. Instead of the password, I want to use a private key. I would like to comment this, or like to remove this. I want to use my private key. Do you have a way to add the private key here? So do you have any argument for this? Okay, type SSH we use, username we use, password I don't want to use. Do you have a private key? Yes, we have a keyword called private key. So I want to use the private key. Okay, and the host name is the IP address. So which IP address you want to connect? Okay, so I would like to connect to this IP address. Which one? The one that has been launched, where my instance is this private public IP. Right now I know the public IP, but next time when I launch new public IP will change. So there's a way to automate this part. As soon the new IP come up, we can update this IP address. Okay, how we will, I'll show you. Okay, in bit. But which is where is the private key? So guys, private key is I can directly copy paste here my private key. It will work. Okay, but private key is very big in size. Okay, if I try to show you, this is what the private key look like. So there's a not good reason to copy paste here. So what can I do? I can give the path of the file. Okay. And where my file located? My file located here. So I can give this entire path where my file located over here. So inside this particular folder, this is my C drive, and normally a C drive normally we write in this way in Windows. C drive. See here, and if you see the command prompt, this is how we write the path. So in this file, we have the file name with this name. Sorry, file name. Just I'm giving the path. That's all. Nothing very technical. That's all. Okay, but does private key variable support the file name? So say no, I only support the content for SSH. Okay, you have to give the content. But if you give this name, private key field, this is the key, it's not the file path. Okay, so in the Terraform, if you have any file and from the file, if you want to read the content and place here and use somewhere, then we have one function available in the Terraform. It's called file function. That's also they are recommending here. You want to load the file from this, you can use the file function. Okay, so the file function, you can give file name with the path. This will read the content and return to you as a string. That's what we wanted, right? So I can give a file function and we can give the entire path inside this. Okay, that's all. Now this file function will read this file, the entire content they give you as normal string to this keyword. The way I show you from the command line why it's not working because some permission issues, we can change, it's not changing, but we can use putty and we can use maybe some other tool maybe available to change the permission at a different point. But the way I normally do a SSH from the command line or maybe putty or the tool, same thing we are doing from the Terraform. Okay, but why you're doing the connections? Connection is not the only mode, right? You are doing the connections because after connection, you want to perform something. You want to configure something. Okay. For example, this OS is running right now in AWS cloud. Even though AWS also, guys, we can directly connect. We have a way. So example, this is the OS we have. I want to connect. There's option called connect, and we can also directly connect by this way. Okay. So let's say we have done SSH. After connecting, what you want to perform? After connecting, I want to install my web server. So maybe this is the command for installing the web server. Okay, with the sudo command. This is what I want to do. Then after this, okay, let me say yes. After you install the web server, what you want to perform? You want to put some web pages. Okay, so we can use echo command and say hi. And so we put this, we can store this file in this folder. The web page we always read from this folder only in Apache server with this sudo. Sudo echo we have to use with SSH or let me use vi command. Or let me first you do sudo, right? There's one command line we can't use the symbol with sudo. It use some ss command, but that I want to not make you confused. So let me use echo hi and this one. This one created. So in the web page server, this is the folder we have where we keep our web pages. So let's say we have web pages we copied and we deploy. And finally, we're going to run our services by this command. Or maybe you can use this command to make it permanent and the start right now. They make it permanent and the start. So technically, this is what we are doing configuration, right? How manually, right way is not to do manual. Instead of this, we can use some kind of configuration tool. The best way one is Ansible and Puppet, right? But right now I'm doing this configuration, okay, on the remote computer with the help of Terraform.